Sabah al khair and good morning to everyone, to all of our distinguished guests, moderators, speakers, watching us from everywhere in the world, and specifically from the Arab region. Sabah al khair lakum jami'an. My name is Abdulaziz Qambar, and I am the CEO of an organization called BTECH. BTECH stands for Bahrain Technology Company Society, which is an NGO that we focus mainly on the ICT sector to enrich them, empower them, export them, and promote them across the international market and the regional market. And on behalf of BTECH and BTECH Board and the Arab ICT Union, الاتحاد العربي لتقنية المعلومات والاتصالات, and its affiliated members from 9 Arab countries, also in collaboration with our great partner and event management partner, WorkSmart, I would like to welcome all of you as distinguished guests and speakers for the second and final day of WomenTech event. This event became a reality with our belief, plus our sponsors believe and partners believe in empowering the women to create our next digital economy. Due to that and due to the collaboration that we had with them in the past, I really would like to thank our major sponsor and main sponsor, InfoBip, for all of their ongoing support. Our partners from Bahrain, Ministry of Youth and Sport, and an Alwani Society, which are both entities that highly believe in the youth and in the women empowerment. Our community partner, Women in AI from United Arab Emirates, SheTex from Jordan, ArabNet from Lebanon, Women's Park from Lebanon, and Bahrain Business Women's Society, who is a society that focuses on empowering women across all sectors, not only the ICT sector in Bahrain. Also, I would like to thank our media partners, Roya TV, Telecom Review, MENA Fin, Teletimes International. On day one, we saw great success of collaboration and shared experiences across 8 various sessions. We started by saying good morning, and then we ended up by saying good evening because it became almost around 7 to 8 o'clock at night here, local time of Bahrain, and other countries. I think it was also very late at night. But all of these women who came on board, they were very enthusiastic and they was very contributors in the success of day one. And through these sessions, we came to learn a lot about what women are doing in the creation of digital economy, how they are influencing the leadership and the mindset of the ICT sector. We saw, for example, great examples of how women are creating some of the new digital banks. So we have, I think from Jordan, we had a woman who is co-creating a digital bank, and she will be appointed as well as a CEO of that digital bank, which is very promising and very amazing for us to see that. We also learned from the amazing keynote session that historically three women, they made the foundations, and the sample foundations for all what Apple, Google, and the digital sector are using today. Things like graphical user interfaces, things like Bluetooth, Wi-Fi connectivity. This was all made with the concept that these women have created long time ago. So if it was not for them, maybe we don't have actually a digital age and we don't have this technology today that we are collaborating around it to talk to more than 20 prominent Arab women who are leading with us the creation of our next digital economy. We also learned on day one that in EdTech, for example, we saw organizations like Clever Play from Bahrain who are putting a curriculum and a scheme amazingly to educate young kids, young kids, I mean kids like female and male equally, from age almost at 8 years old on the basics of programming, basics of robotics, basics of artificial intelligence. This is very impressive that we see more and more organizations that are looking at our future generation to develop them and nurture them. And most of these organizations are either created by women or led by women. On day one, we also saw in the fintech session and in the cybersecurity session, we saw a lot of activities that women are leading. To myself, I was a bit surprised how women are really empowering the cybersecurity. Some women, they think that it's a difficult zone to step in, but we saw great leaders from Egypt, as an example, from Jordan. They are doing amazing things as female, as women, to empower the cybersecurity sector. As of day one of this event inspired us, we are looking forward for a successful final day of this event with our distinguished guest speaker and moderators to share and collaborate all of their experiences for the benefit of the Arab region. With this has been said, I would like to hand over this session to my dear friend, Ms. Lulwa Ebrahim. She is the Director of Communication and Marketing for the Bahrain Information and eGovernment Authority, to start this event with the session named PR and Communication in Tech Industry with her distinguished panelists. Lulwa, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Abdulaziz. Ladies and gentlemen, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It's my pleasure to meet everyone and welcome everybody in the second day of the Women in Tech Forum. This virtual gathering comes as evidence to the significance of digital transformation and enabling such meetings as we are in now, as the one we are in now. Before we start the session, I would like to advise all attendees that you are more than welcome to use the question and answer button option to address any questions or comments that you may have during the session proceedings, and I'll be viewing them and sharing them with the panelists. We also will be having an interactive poll questions for any feedback. So I would appreciate your engagement during the sessions. In its own way, public relations and communications in general is a very dynamic industry, such as the technology industry. Although the principles may remain the same, the landscape in which we work in completely transformed in the last decades. I'm sure most of you agree on this. We have seen the rise of digital media, even as print appears to decline. We have seen communication influencers being replaced with new types of celebrities. We have seen communication platforms change rapidly, changing our consumer and business behavior. Conducting events like this one and workshops changed the rise of remote working mobile apps, such as during the time. People have access to information more than before, and it's easier than forever that as communication professionals, our messages get drowned in a sea of competing voices. We are here today to discuss how public relations and communications in the tech industry is evolving and what are the best strategies to overcome these industry challenges. Please allow me to introduce this innovative panel of communication professionals. I would like to start with the telecom industry. We have Engineer Rana and Dababneh, Deputy Chief Public Relations, CSR and Corporate Communications Officer, and member of the Executive Committee of Orange Telecoms in Jordan. Engineer Rana, recently certified corporate director, has exceptional experience in public relations, marketing, and corporate image communication, strategic planning, management. She has performance management, marketing, and product design experience, noting corporate social responsibility, strategy setting, and execution. Engineer Rana holds a bachelor degree in Bachelor Science in Industrial Engineering from the University of Jordan, and is passionate and believes in the capabilities of individuals in the society, and thinking that the success of those around her is her success. But we have also Ms. Zahara Zayat, She is Senior Vice President of OTT and Telcos in OSN, something I think everybody has in their houses nowadays. Ms. Zahara Zayat is an experienced media executive with extensive experience in digital OTT, partnerships, and marketing. Zahra currently leads the OSN strategy on digital, OTT, and business development. Under her leadership, the company launched the OSN streaming app and grew it to become among the leading streaming platforms in the MENA region. Ms. Zahra has been awarded Women Media Executive of the Year by Broadcast Pro and has been recognized among top 5 influential women leaders in the ICT industry by Telecom Review. Next, third panelist, we have Ms. Nadine Khoukaz, Marketing and Communication Manager, Business Applications at Microsoft Middle East and Africa. She's a young, dynamic, modern marketing and sales professional with 18 years of experience, both in consumer and commercial business. She has experience in EMEA and USA and Europe. Ms. Nadine's key expertise is developing and executing regional sales and marketing strategies across multiple industries. Her main expertise is in integrated marketing, strategy, business development, and digital technologies. Welcome, ladies. Welcome to this. I'm very impressed. I really wanted to continue in reviewing more of your impressive bio, and we will learn more about it through our discussions. Ladies, the recent pandemic impacted human lives, way of living, and the world economy. It forced the world kicking and screaming to move into a new digital reality. The circumstances we went through as businesses allowed B2B technologies to thrive and transform the way the world does business today. So in your opinion, and as terms of public relations and communications professionals in the business industry, Engineer Rana, how was the role of PR and communications for the telecom industry? How has it impacted? How was it impacted in this new digital era?
Thank you, Lulwa. It's an honor for us also to have a wonderful operator like yourself, moderator like yourself. And we thank WomenTech leaders across MENA, of course, for the nice organization. I think they're touching base not only on the recent subjects, but the collective power of females in the industry, which needs to be highlighted. I've prepared just a few slides just to give a shed on what's happening. I'm sure everybody's aware, but we're trying to just collect some information. In telecom industry or any other industry, the trends are the same. We have been all impacted by the pandemic, and there was definitely a change of many of the dynamics of many sectors. I will just have a few slides. I'm sure my member colleagues, the panelists, will comment as well. Of course, the public relations concept transformed, and this is a discussion that Lulwa, Nadine, and also Zahra, we discussed this a lot. In the previous days, public relations was more into media, was more into journalism. However, with the increased variation of the media channels that we're having, with the targeted audience and the differentiated messages and the scattered channels, now we're emerging technologies. The PR is a little bit more under digital advertising, marketing, and storytelling. So the first point, this is also across all industries, I'm sure, that we need to highlight that the public relation concept now is a little bit more of a communication platform. The new thing that we really need to shed light on, that the public relations now has different fragments, because today we're talking about the PISO model, whereby you have your own media, and we know what that is, especially, of course, as a telecom company, we had our own social media platforms and partnerships. We have the shared media, which is with working with all partners. They have our content shared by the third party. We have the earned media as well. That is attained by the advertising and the promotion of our products. And of course, everybody knows about the paid media. So the model is not as simple as before. And I will tell you a little bit more why is it different. So this is, I hope the slide was able to also cover the numbers that 10 years ago, the printed media, the daily newspapers, with the TV, of course, took much of the market reach. However, unfortunately, nowadays, we don't see them maxing more than average of 2 or 3%. And the web is now continuing to lead by 85%. So if this does anything for all of us, it puts us under the reality that there is a transformation of the concepts and the channels. We need to adapt, and this is why the whole formula and strategies have changed. So we have a new PR look. It's a little bit different. The brand awareness and exposure is different, and we know PR is generally responsible for the image of the company. The credibility needs to be a little bit different. The brand engagement with the spot on real-time connection on social media is the engagement is different. The traffic, because we know even after the pandemic, the reach of all of the social media is different, and the influencers field is different, as Lulwa was saying. Of course, as we all know, again, this is across all industries. However, we cannot shy away from the fact that the digital channels is our new diversified medium to communicate better, be it with content marketing and search engine optimization, the social media, on all of the activities that we can do, the paid search and display ads that we see on the digital platforms, the influencers marketing, which is now, we cannot deny that it's really taking a big place in the whole industry and understanding, and the affiliation marketing along with the partnership. So we really need to know that the advertising on digital media exceeded the 60%. However, it's another point that Lulwa, Nadine, and Zahra and we all agreed that it's definitely now more affordable, which gives it a different edge, that it's giving us as communicator different channels to communicate with more affordable prices. We really need to highlight, we cannot escape as well of our next challenge, which is the diversification of the audience. We have the Generation Z, the millennials, and Generation X. Each generation looks at the digital media for different interests. So we know that Generation Z has a completely different behavior from us back in the days. They have higher expectations for customization, whereby the Generation X, they're looking to find information. Millennial focus more into more expectations from brands and connecting with people. So we really need to assess the platforms, the digital platforms based on our targeted audience. And this is a very important point to do, because it is their preferred, the social media is their preferred destination. Of course, we have all seen how TikTok grew in 2021, especially with the pandemic. And this is something as communicator, even if we are responsible on corporate communication, we cannot deny, and it needs to be taken into consideration. Another fact is very important is the video content. Video-based platforms is very popular nowadays. And even to communicate whatever content that we have, we really need to confirm and focus on video content. And the average time and attention spans for the audience is very little. So we all also need to address this very important challenge, that whatever communication that we want to do, our audience does not have the same focus and attention that they had back in the days. So in less than 2 seconds, we have to have a brand recall, brand awareness, and sell our product, which is honestly, I always tell my colleagues, I wish I had the PR job 15 years back, because it was much easier. Just read the newspaper or watch the TV, and then your mission is done. So it's making it more difficult, more challenging. My last slide is a little bit more angle into telecom to answer your question, Lulwa. So the telecom companies now, because we have the platforms and all of you know that after the pandemic, we grew the basis because the use of internet now is for learning, for work, for education, for all types of usages. So we have the base. We need to differentiate ourselves using a strong digital media presence. Because we already have a high social visibility. So it's an opportunity, but it needs to be handled properly and smartly. So I added this because listening to customers is now an organic operation. It's not an option. And I added an image of our social listening room, whereby it was established just to make sure that we are spot on understanding exactly what the customers are giving us in terms of feedback, generally on, be it on products or services or our CSR programs. And we have that as part of our functions at the company. And it's a really very efficient practice to handle by big corporates. The other point, the other angle for telecom is the powerful infrastructures of connectivity and universal access now is a must. I've been in the company for 20 years. I remember being in the marketing and promoting the usage of internet to people. Now it's not at all an add-on. It's a necessity. It's a part of our lives, and it's putting, of course, extra responsibility on telecoms. However, because we have the whole formula of competition different, Zahra will talk on OTTs for entertainment. However, the other OTTs, they have very strong platforms that entered. So we needed, as telecom companies, to formulate new marketing strategies. So I hope I was not long, Lulwa, and thank you for the question. I tried to touch base on different angles.
Thank you very much for this interesting insight. But I really feel that the input that you have kept in, especially with the listening room, can you give us a bit of more information about the social media listening room that you just talked about? How is this supporting your operations at Orange? How is this helping you across all platforms?
Very good question, Lulwa. So, of course, first of all, we're using the different solutions. Today, you have different providers that analyzes the traffic that you have on the internet. There are different platforms. We're using at least 3 of them. And of course, you need to have the use of hashtags. So how do you track that? Whatever post that you need to track, you need to have specific unified hashtags in order to be able to track it. This is from one technical aspect. The other aspect is very important. So we have a committee that is formed from the different departments that has input. So we have people from social media team, we have people from customer care team, we have people from our teams as PR, because we need to know for crisis management sake, we need to have high attention to all of that. We have people as well from the network and technical, just to understand that there's a full consistency across all of the operation. And we have occasionally we have 2 parties that come in and out: the marketing, the product designers, because they need to see what's happening in the market, and the customer journey experts. So it's a committee, and the report, of course, other than staying in the room, there's a dispatched report twice a week. So it's really highly recommended the function to be added. As I said, with the crisis management, with the whole pandemic situation, this room added a really powerful pillar for us to utilize.
Excellent. Thank you very much for this insightful detail. With OTT market, media market growing, this question I would like to take to Ms. Zahra. How is the role of PR and communications and the media industry impacted with the new digital era?
Thank you, Lulwa, and thanks everybody for having us today. I think Rana covered a lot of that actually. Not a lot left, but I'll just try to elaborate. For us, when we launched our OTT service, especially during the first period when the pandemic has just started, we were forced to go digital only, and we were forced to sharpen our digital strategies to accommodate a more connected digital world and more connected digital audiences. So So at that time, we couldn't go outdoor because people are stuck at home. We couldn't go into the traditional media. We couldn't go into radio. We couldn't go on other traditional mediums. So we were forced to innovate digitally and improve and increase the level of our spending with social media and more on SEOs and paid social media. So this has been an interesting learning experience, and this has, I think, two roles. The first one is driving awareness, and the second is driving paid acquisitions or actual customers. So the awareness bit on digital media is a bit tricky, and I would challenge that it is very, very, very expensive, because it feeds your funnel from the top, and then through that you optimize and you generate leads and you get to paid acquisitions. So how did we generate this awareness kind of media, and what did we do during the pandemic? We tried to go more into influencer marketing, because we couldn't go on billboards or on radio or other channels. But then you would question, what is the value generated out of influencer marketing, and whether the influencers that you're using are efficient or good enough to drive the awareness that you want and the acquisitions that you need. Historically, they used to bring in a celebrity or a famous face, put him in front of the crowd, and it used to generate leads. But now it's no longer the case. You really need to select your influencer based on the target segment. And our region specifically is challenged by the kind of influencers that we have, because there is no specialization with influencers. You see influencers that are generic, targeting many things, cooking, lifestyle, sports, whatever, but there is no specialization. And this is where you would question the value that is derived out of these influencers. Definitely a good tool for awareness at one point of time, but then also you've got to increase your investment on digital. Now, the other caveat that I would add on paid digital is, yes, everybody says it's efficient and it generates acquisitions, but it only allows you to reach certain audiences. At one point of time, the bottom of this funnel that gives you customers dries out, and it has to be fed again over and over again. So this is where we've reached some kind of the secret sauce or the secret recipe to maintain the balance between awareness and acquisition. And we have seen that when you have the right awareness, it improves your acquisitions by at least 30%. Your acquisition becomes more efficient. And hence, I would not use digital only till now. Yes, there is huge digital transformation happening. However, we always use a combination between traditional and digital, because each bucket feeds the other one, but the digital spend remains paramount and remains slightly much higher actually from the traditional.
Thank you, Nadine. This is a really good advice. And I think pointing out to the social media influencers or the influencers in general, I think a lot of entities, they do spend a lot on these influencers, but sometimes don't get the return on investment, because as you mentioned, they don't have a specialization on a certain thing. And the public may like this influencer and may not like it, and you wouldn't know if it would ruin your brand or, you know, help promote it. So on that note, we go to Microsoft, Ms. Nadine, in terms of how has the role of communications, digital communications for the tech industry was impacted in the digital era. So what do you think? What are your thoughts on this?
Thank you. Thanks, Lulwa, and thank you very much to your panelists, because I echo everything you just said, and the last point, especially of Zahra, is extremely important. We also have been trying to work a lot with influencers, and it's been very, very tough. We're actually recruiting them regionally, Canada, the US, etc. And that's where the advice of Zahra is extremely important. It's on point. If we could give one advice to the audience, it's specialize. It's really extremely important, especially in the Middle East. Now, to your point, the pandemic fundamentally disrupted the global economy. You said it right, while wreaking havoc in some sectors and also providing windfalls for others. As in any crisis, opportunities arise for certain businesses, and most important, for certain roles, the role of marketing within the business. It's just a matter of grabbing this opportunity. And I think in our case, that role was marketing. Microsoft made a bold move when it came to transforming how we did marketing. We were already moving towards the digital era. The pandemic just accelerated this. Now, what do I mean by that? Let me just take a couple of minutes to explain it. Now, we as Microsoft empower every person and organization to achieve more. This is what we do every day. Every day we come to work and think about our customers and think, how can we help them achieve what they want to achieve? And be the first and be the challenger. So the first thing we had to do as marketers is to listen to our customers. And I think this is the change that we saw recently. We need to understand how they operate and how they engage with their customers. This is the majority of what we do. There's a B2C, but when you talk to myself and my peers in the Middle East and Africa, we work with B2B. So the first thing is to understand our customers, their end goals, their objectives, and how they want to also help their own customers achieve, right? The second was helping them survive and thrive during these uncertain times and reimagine what the future holds for them. As a third priority, we doubled down on data and insights. And I think this is something that you're going to find in all my answers. I talk a lot about the data, analytics, and insights in order to understand the customer engagement throughout their journey. And we finally upskilled the internal team as well as our partners in the market so that they could, in turn, advise the customer and walk them through the digital transformation. There's something that we developed extremely well internally. It's the engagement index of each customer. Marketing has a really good focused view into every customer, what they're doing, how they're doing. I mean, our customers, obviously, with the right, I would say, approvals from the customer. We understand their behavior. We know what type of content they're using or they're liking the most. We understand the industry and how the industry is moving forward. And so by looking at that, we were able to bring in insights to all our marketing campaigns and our go-to-market strategy. So in short, has the marketing changed? Yes. Is it for the better? I would say definitely. And why so? Because we're listening to our customers and offering them exactly what they need at the point that they need it. We're no longer a brick and mortar company. We're no longer, and this is IT in general, no longer pushing boxes, right? Or pushing solutions and applications that the companies or our customers don't use. We are really looking into what they need at that moment in time and servicing them with the right suite of applications. So for me, the transformation we see within the IT sector is extremely important. And also extremely essential if you want to really understand what your customers are doing.
So I think we're all in agreement that technology has changed the way we communicate. So I would like to raise a question to the public, to the audience through a poll question. So I hope everybody, just 1 minute to answer the question. Do you think technology made it easier to adapt to the changes in the way we communicate? So mashallah, we're having a, I don't know if everybody sees it, but everybody has said yes. So I think this is we are all in agreement on this. So our next point of discussion, we spoke about listening to the customer. We spoke about how technology changed the scene. So technology has introduced major, it's introduced major changes in our lives. It's also changed the way we communicate on a personal and business level. It sped up our communications, as we just talked about, changed the way we look at things, we work, we learn, the way we think. So I would like to ask this question for the whole panel, and by all means, any of the ladies would like to start first. What changes did this rapid technology advancement bring to the way you communicate with your customers? So what changes did these rapid technical advancements bring to the way you communicate with customers? So who do we start with?
I could, Lulwa, continue the
Please,
information
go ahead.
I was giving you.
Please go ahead. And the audience, please share with us some technologies that supported you through your communications efforts. Share with us so I could read them out loud. Share them with us through the Q&A. And please, Nadine, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. No, thanks, Lulwa. And thank you, dear panelists, for letting me go first. So, you know, as I was thinking about this question, I thought there's so many things that we did, right? So many things that we did vis-a-vis the changes in our technology, the changes in how we do, you know, marketing. But I thought there's a couple of things that I narrowed down. We live in a world where there's a lot of noise. A friend of mine calls it excess in every way. Excess in what you see, excess in what you hear, excess in what you read. Think about it. We had our first lockdown 2.5 years ago. Who can remember, right? What happened? We all went online. Schools, universities, activities, chess. My son had to do his chess lessons over Teams and dropped out. And most of all our webinars, most of all our marketing campaigns went online. All the events which were face-to-face before were now online. We moved everything from a traditional to a digital, but with force, aggressively, and sometimes not to the liking of our customers. And you had so many. The volume was overwhelming, right? It was just too much. So as marketeers, during that pandemic and post-pandemic, we had to take a step back and we had to rethink the way we go to market. What's the right way to reach our customers when they're overloaded with information? And all these informations are relevant. They're overloaded with ads, offers, information, new businesses, you know, new ideas, new concepts. And the team and myself actually decided to centralize. We looked at all our stories, what we're bringing together, and we call them the cloud stories. We had something for your collaboration suite. We had something for business enterprise suites and connecting with your customers. We had something for security, etc. We built a story, one story to combine all of these, and that was resilience. We went, you know, did focus groups, spoke with our customers, and they said, the one thing we need from you is to help us do what we're doing, to ride the wave. So it was a connected story where we helped our customers navigate through the pandemic with simple and tactical methods. And I think here the point to take, to underline, is tactical. I think what customers want now, as your audience today, they want tactics. They want us to come and talk to them, or us, all of us as an audience, really have a discussion around the tactics. What exactly should these folks do, right, on a daily basis? So we then evolved the campaign into other different scenarios, depending on where the customers were in the stage of their digital transformations. Are they talking about striving? Are they out of the pandemic and now they need somebody to help them grow? Are they talking about decentralization or relocation? Are they talking about, human resources and how to connect with your employees? So we had different stories at that stage, but it branched out from that main story. And I think this is what customers really look for. It's how are we thinking about all this complexity and making it simple for them. When we go to market, as a second thing I wanted to say, we're very focused. Our messages are crisp, they're clear. You rarely see a message that doesn't really explain what we're looking for or what we're giving. If we're talking about a customer relationship management suite, this is what I talk about. If we're looking at the one cloud secure, this is what I say. We target specific audiences for different types of solutions. And we look at, obviously, again, how they're engaging and where they are in their journey. Are they still, checking out things at the beginning? Are they now in the buying phase, etc.? We don't overload them with webinars. We actually let the experts from the industry speak. So to the panelists, it's exactly what we do. We look at partners, customers, influencers, B2B influencers. They're the ones that take our story forward. And we rarely come to the market and say, hey, this is Microsoft saying. We say, this is what marketeers across all the IT businesses are saying. We're not the only one. We're just saying, listen, because we're bringing the right people over to talk about a relevant topic for you. So I think, again, this is the voice that we use as marketeers, and this is how we saw the changes happen, how we communicate. Simple, tactical, and leveraging people outside.
Yeah, I kind of agree. And sometimes the product itself sells itself by itself. For example, we have one answer from the question that we placed that mentioned Zoom and Microsoft communication tools made it easier for us to reach our clients without the need to go through the hassle of physical meetings and traveling from country to country within the COVID conditions. So I think that's 100% correct. And what about Orange Telecom? Let's say.
Yeah, I wanted to because you mentioned Lulwa, the product, I really want to highlight something really important. So Nadine focused on the B2B market. I'm sure it has its own challenges. When I used to be in B2B, because you don't have the easy platform, so I'm sure they're doing great job between all of the changes and the hard market that they have. From a consumer perspective, I really need to tell you something. Other than the technology itself, I want to take a different angle. Two things. People want something that they are interested in, and consumers are mature. So even when we mentioned the paid media, and Zahra highlighted that in her speech. However, people do not want to be, they want genuine content. They don't want to feel that they are being sold. So they're very mature as consumers. You really need to be aware of what they want, and you need to really understand that. So I always wonder why a rumor or a news about, for example, today in Jordan, we have snow coming. So it's work until 12 today, and tomorrow is a day off. So take that decision as an example. It was released by the Prime Minister yesterday, I think at around afternoon. It took 1 hour to go viral. It's a very simple example, but I'm just shedding light on it. And when people care about something, they will look for the information. So for a consumer market design, we really need to give them the content that they care of. For technologies, I don't want to highlight anything, but I want to mention the videos again. Videos is our base, but they need to be, I urge everyone to have their videos as simple as possible, yani not to exceed 1 minute. We're trying to focus on that as much as we can. Give an information that the people care about in a genuine, nice way. I think this is the packaging that can be optimized, let's say, but it's a challenge still, Lulwa, undergoing.
It's all about the content. It's all about the content, and the challenge, I think we have the technologies, but now it's all about the content. So stating that, Zahra, in your industry, do you think these changes are unique, let's say, or these technological advancements with content, and especially in your field? Give us like an insight on this, and how do you think these changes are taking over?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So some of the challenges are unique. Some of them are just I think market challenges. But then the important point to highlight is that customers are more in control of their media consumption on social media and on Google and other platforms. And this means that, as Rana said, yes, customer is more informed, more sophisticated. A customer doesn't want to be bombarded by choice, so they don't want to choose, and many times they don't know what they want. So it is your responsibility as a brand to develop or create that awareness. We sell movies and series, and we do, as part of our marketing approach and plan and awareness, we do the content marketing, i.e. we create this hype before even the content comes into the market. People start talking about it. We create this word of mouth around people to get them excited and interested in what's coming up next. So this forces us into adopting a strategy to deeply engage with customers, not only to bring in new customers, but also to engage with existing customers, taking them into deeper levels of engagement on what to watch next and how to keep them on the platform. This is not an easy task, actually, because it requires robust recommendation engines that would assess the behavior of the customer on the platform and the behavior of the customer also on social media, what kind of things he likes, he wants, he's looking for, and so on, and then try to target the customer. Now, what technology has enabled us to do to understand our customers better and to optimize our journey and address our journey, reach out to the customer where he wants to reach, where he wants to see us. i.e., if a customer wants, for example, to pay on credit card, he can pay on credit card if we know that he's a credit card customer. But then we know that credit card business is challenged in the Middle East and North Africa region overall, and the quality of credit cards are not great. So this forces us into adopting, let's say, payment methods that are more tailored to what the customer wants. If you go to Egypt, and here I would elaborate about the ecosystem that enables us to grow. It's the telecom business and the direct carrier billing that happens through the telecom business that allows the customer to pay automatically through the app on the telco. If you go into other markets and industries, customer gets to pay through other modes of payment, through iOS or through Google, etc. So it is these learnings that we've grown about our customers that has allowed us to grow and thrive. So the tech and the consumer experiences are interlinked. And I do agree with Rana when she said you've got exactly 3 seconds to get the customer. And this is the power of your creative. The other consideration is that in most times the creative is muted. So the video is automatically muted unless you unmute it on Instagram or Facebook. So sound effect might not be of use in a lot of times. It is the visual creative that captures the customer first. And this is an art because we also try to understand more about our customers. On video length, sometimes it is 30 seconds, 1 minute goes up to 5 minutes as well in some of the cases, based on the platform and based on the country. I would optimize based on the country because I know for a fact that what works in UAE does not work in Saudi and in Kuwait, vice versa. So there is a really segmented, optimized approach that we use for the content, for the language, and for the video creative that we put in front of the customer. Any conversation about business growth is incomplete without people because we are people-centric and this industry is people-intensive. So I do agree as well. Rana mentioned that people want a relationship with the brands, but after COVID, we've discovered that they want a genuine relationship with the brands. They want to feel that this is a brand for a purpose. It's not just a product that is being sold. They want to feel this connection with the brand, and this is what is our focus now. So we're bringing regional stories from this region to the world, to the MENA region, to attract our customers and serve them better.
So it's all about the choices we have. It's all about the availability of the channels. The pandemic has given over the top, we call them the OTT platforms, a boost, accelerating the rate of innovation in the field and public acceptance. So there's a lot of talk about OTT now in the media industry. So I would like to share with the team, to share with the audience like a poll survey, and also have Zahra give us like a quick recap for some people who would in the communications world wonder what OTT is. We know that it refers to content being delivered through the internet, bypassing traditional channels and everything, but it will be nice to have a quick view on what people think of the OTT channels available now, and a quick briefing from your end on what is OTT and how do you see the platforms contributing to the PR and communications industry in a very quick 1 minute explanation. Go ahead, Zahra, and we can, so far,
sure.
I could I have the poll going on, but you can give us a quick chit chat about it.
Okay, so OTT stands for over the top, and these are the apps and services that are delivered to customers over the top, i.e. over the internet. So this could include streaming services like OSN, Amazon, Netflix, Shahid, etc. It also includes, for example, WhatsApp. This is also delivered over the service, over the top. Zoom, etc. All of these applications that we see. So I'm gonna answer your question, but I will also answer one of the questions that came in the Q&A. I think the impact, and this is interesting. We have 0 for OSN.
I don't think everybody answered. I was trying to answer OSN, but I couldn't. I'm an OSN fan, so OSN streaming as well.
Yeah, the new platform is very promising. Honestly, I'm enjoying it. I think things will evolve for sure.
Yeah,
especially streaming. I get to see my stories beforehand. I can't wait.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I think the rise of OTT businesses has given opportunities and challenges. I'll give a few examples, and I'll step into Rana's shoes a little bit in the telco industry as well. So for us as media businesses, it forced us out of the traditional box business into the app business, i.e. this is our OSN streaming app. Now, obviously the service over the top is a lot cheaper than the traditional service. So it puts pressure on revenue, and it forces us to deliver more scale to compensate for the pressure that we have on the traditional business. Now, same for other industries. This is where I'll step on Rana. In the telecom industry as well, historically, you used to subscribe for minutes. So you used to buy a number of minutes as part of your package, and then it's a voice package. Nowadays, this voice revenue is cannibalized by WhatsApp calls and Zoom calls. You no longer need to buy these expensive minute packages to stay connected with your business or with your peers and families. you call through the internet, and this has put pressure on everyone to maintain their ARPU or to defend their high revenues. And this is where, as businesses, we've seen an amazing opportunity to collaborate together. So as OSN, we have never been closer to telcos as much as we are now. When we launched our OSN streaming, we partnered with 26 telcos around the region because OTT requires bandwidth, it requires data and internet, and the telecom provides this kind of infrastructure for us. So it's a natural synergy between the two industries. Not only it provides data, but it provides also the payment method through its direct carrier billing. So you pay one bill for your mobile, for your TV service, for your app, etc. It's a one-stop shop. So the kind of challenges that both industries have had, the telco industry, they have one option: to keep on doing discounts, but discounts are not good enough to provide or to deliver preference to their service, and for us to deliver on scale. We married each other married each other in the last few years, and we found this perfect synergy. We get the customer, we drive preference to the telco service. The telco benefits from more data usage on their data plans, and also from revenue on their direct carrier billing business. So as this kind of businesses evolve, we will see more OTTs coming into the picture, not only on content, but also gaming. It's a very, very, very big thing now. We see the opportunity on gaming as 50 times more than on video streaming. Same for music and other OTTs in the industry. So this is going to be a very challenging industry. MENA region specifically is a region where a lot of international providers have their eyes on. So you will see more international providers coming into the region with their eyes open on the MENA region, because it's still a virgin industry for them that they wanna grow in, and this puts pressure on everyone to evolve and deliver stories that are relevant to this region.
This is very interesting. The fact that you mentioned the gaming industry as well as part of the OTT technologies. It's very true. I mean, first it was limited to a certain generation, and now you can see the 6-year-olds and 7-year-olds all induced into that kind of content. So I totally.
It's not the 6 and 7-year-old. These were always the audience. It's actually the above 50. The above 50
now. Oh God. Now we have to get a bit of training on these things now, I guess. Okay, the discussion is very interesting, and communications and PR is like a vast sea now with all these changes happening, especially after the pandemic. A question for the whole panel, since we're all PR communications, and some of us are in tech and ICT industries. Do you face any challenges as women in the industry, or let's say, let me rephrase the question. Do you think that tech industry should invest in communications, PR communications in this digital era, although we have this vast market now available? Should there be an investment, or since they're tech industries, they could go with what's happening? I mean, I'll leave this question. I mean, now we spoke about understanding customer perception. We spoke about measuring the feedback, different types of marketing channels. Do you still see the need of investing in public relations and communications?
I'll pick up from what Zahra said, لأنه she explained the history of telecom and transforming the whole OTTs, all of us, not only in the telecom industry. I think with the vast transformation that's happening around the world, We know that big companies are closing now if they're not keeping up with the change. Big companies are, if they're not keeping up, if they're not transforming, if they're not agile, they will lose the opportunity. So to answer your question, Lulwa, I'm so pro and say yes, there is still a part and opportunity for investments. We need to be very strategic. We need to be very smart. We have platforms that we did not utilize. Zahra did not hide it. We really need to confess that OTTs just swiped the carpet from under the telecom industries, and we were too busy with the competition that we did not even notice that fast transformation that's happening, because they are startups, they're entrepreneurs, they don't have the long processes that we had, and suddenly the whole scene has changed. We need to definitely be aware. We need to be very alert, and yes, I really urge that we utilize better the platforms that we already have to anticipate the coming transformation as well.
Opportunities for PR and communication professionals working in the ICT industry. Do you see any more opportunities or challenges? What, for people working in this industry, in the tech, or working in our industry as communications? Any opportunities now with what's happening?
And I would like to highlight again what Nadine and Zahra specified, the whole influencers world and specialization per product. So one of the opportunities that we need to, maybe as individuals, next time, Abdulaziz and MENA, you host us as bloggers and influencers. لأنه everybody has a platform from their own industry and expertise.
Yeah.
So and we all confirmed that we need specialization, because today you cannot have one influencer that can serve several subjects.
Every industry.
You cannot find one influencer that serves all channels. So today, we started thinking differently. I want someone for Instagram, someone for Facebook, LinkedIn. As we said, it's picking up. So the opportunity, honestly, in the whole influencer world, and it can be a corporate influencer. Who said that the influencer should be an individual? So this is something to really think about. I think
it can even be an employee working within your industry.
Employee, a small startup to focus, what the individual do on a little bit more of an SME corporate level. So in that field, with the whole specialization that we've talked about, I think there is so much to be done, and it will benefit us for sure eventually.
Thank you very much. Ladies, do you have anything else to add on before I end?
Sure. Just I'll make it brief. I think there is an opportunity for the PR business overall to evolve by making good use of AI, artificial intelligence, in order to, I would say, hone or better position itself properly in front of people and become more people centric. Currently, PR is, I would say, is close to people, but it's not people centric. With the help of AI, it can become more people centric, and hence it can improve significantly.
Very much. On that note, Nadine, do you have anything before we end?
No, I mean, to Zahra's point, that's excellent, and to Rana, definitely data and AI, extremely important. This is the bread and butter, I think, of a good marketeer. I also want to say that there's no better place to be right now than being a marketeer. I think there's a lot of opportunities that we can unravel. We're sitting now on the board of decision making. We have information from the market. We have information of our customers. We understand the ecosystem. We can bring good insights to the leadership teams or the government teams, and the sellers. So I think this is extremely important, whether it's a B2B or B2C. So definitely a really good place to be right now is in marketing, provided you are well equipped. And I think what's important is we need to be in organizations that take the time to invest in its people. because the skills of marketing are changing.
Yes.
You know, a marketeer now is changing every day. The rules of the games are changing every day. So I would also give this tactical, again, advice, as we're all giving to the audience, be with companies and organizations, or define your organization as something that would invest in its people, because things are moving so fast.
I totally agree with that. Totally agree with the statement that the rules changing, the points are changing now in terms of marketing and how we market, how we position ourselves, how we communicate with our customers. On this note, I would like to thank you all for your enlightening messages, and I would like to thank the audience for attending, the organizers for putting us together, and making us giving us this opportunity to conduct this panel. I don't see, the floor is open to any questions and answers for any questions from the audience. Please feel free to ask us anything you have. Or by this, I leave the floor with Mr. Abdulaziz as well.
Thank you very much, Lulwa, and all the distinguished guests. I think the question that we see, they're being answered already, I think, by Zahra and the other ladies here. With that has been said, thank you very much, and wish you all the best and success and the journeys that you are leading with all the women to change and deliver a new digital economy for all of us in the Arab Pan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
Thank you.